Hello, nerds! Thank you once again for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your week in Nerdom, and this week we're talking new Black Mirror. We're talking about Disney's acquisition of Fox, which is still in the works. We're talking a new Batman villain in the comic books, Christmas music, and so much more. But before we can get to all of that, cue the intro.
Generally Nerdy.
Before we get to news about the news, this is the spot where we do news about the channel. And news about the channel is, I'm thinking about retooling the week in Nerdom. I'm still going to do it weekly. I just think I'm going to chop these, like record them all at once, and then chop each segment up and do a segment a day. Because these hour-long videos just haven't been getting a whole lot of views. And I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff here, so we'll cut them and see how that happens. It might not be until after the new year I start doing this, just because, I don't know. It might be this episode. It probably won't be. It'll probably be either next episode or sometime after the new year. I haven't really decided which, but yeah, that's news about the channel. Let's get into news about the news, starting with TV news. We talked a little bit about the Dark Crystal series that Netflix is going to be doing. We still don't know if it's going to be a where it's going to fall in the timeline. There's I don't even know that there's any casting announcements yet, but no, there has been casting announcements. I just don't have them. Primary or principal photography is starting this week, so already started a couple of days ago. It was when I was doing the research for this, it was going to be starting, and now that we are at the weekend, it has started. So that's really awesome. That means we are, 9-10 months away from getting our Dark Crystal series, which is going to be great, potentially. Dark Crystal is a great show. I mean, the movie is fantastic. I really loved it. So hopefully this will do that much better, or be that good, or close to that good at least. Following that, we had our Crisis on Earth X crossover event with the Arrowverse, aka Berlanti Land, as Kevin Smith likes to call it, because it is helmed by Greg Berlanti. He does all of these shows. That being said, it was 4 hours because it was Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. All of these crossed over. 4 hours worth of basically a superhero movie. And so Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow, when he was talking to, who was he talking to? Did not write that part down either, but he was talking to somebody about the event and how they filmed it and how it was just this big undertaking, and it took them like 6 weeks to film 4 episodes, whereas usually it takes a week to do 1 episode. So you've got, a week and a half of extra time allotted to these episodes, and that's 6 weeks that they're filming for this one event, whereas the 1 week time frame, it was just a lot more of an undertaking than I think they were gambling for, and that's what he was talking about. He compared it to the Super Bowl, and said that if they're going to continue to do these things, that they're going to have to reconceive, they're going to have to create a new way to film for television, which I think is kind of due, right? Because this TV land, these universes that we're creating are not the same as what they were 20, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago, before any of these started. Smallville kind of had a little bit of something there, and there were a couple of callbacks to Smallville in the Earth X event, so that was pretty cool. If you haven't watched it, definitely hit up your streaming services, or CW, I think, has their own streaming service, actually. So check that out, because it was a big ordeal, and we're not going to be talking about it because there's a lot of other stuff going on, and we got to keep on rolling, keep on moving. So, keeping on rolling, we're talking about the Orville next, and the Orville has been cut short. It was initially the plan for the Orville was, we're going to make half of a season and see how it goes. They were announced either last week or the week before that they're getting picked up for season 2, so that's great news. That's really awesome. This season, though, for whatever reason, bad planning is what it seems like, they had to cut off. It was going to be 13 episodes instead of a traditional 22 episodes like they do for traditional television, whereas Walking Dead is usually like 10, 13 episodes, and American Horror Story is the same thing, and those kind of specialty shows, the ones that are on basic cable, those are shorter seasons, whereas broadcast seasons are 22 episodes. So Flash, Arrow, Smallville, all of these shows, Supergirl, those all go for about 22 episodes. The first season of the Orville was only supposed to be a short season because they didn't know how it was going to go, and they didn't want to give too much money to Seth MacFarlane, which is ridiculous because he's hilariously brilliant. So they were going to do 13 episodes. Scheduling conflicts, like, this doesn't make sense to me. And maybe one of you guys out there knows better than I, because I am not the smartest person in the world, but I do not understand how they allotted for 13 episodes, and then all of a sudden there's a scheduling conflict. Like, they knew what the programming was going to be a year ago. I don't understand how. Anyway, so instead of getting 13 episodes for season 1, we are getting 12 episodes, but the episode that was going to be number 13 is going to be now episode 1 for season 2. The bits that I read made it sound like they didn't want to take a mid-season break just to come back for one episode, but if you're taking a mid-season break, like, that I understand, that makes total sense. Let's not come back for one episode, so let's just go for 13 episodes before the mid-season break. That makes sense, right? Like, I'm not a TV executive, so I could not say why this happened, but it has happened, so we're just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. But the good news is still that they are renewed for a second season. Continuing on to the teaser for this section is Black Mirror. We have, count them, I think it's 3, it might be 4, I might have missed one, but it's at least 3 previews for the next season of Black Mirror. This show, if you have not watched this show is intense. It's an anthology show, meaning that each episode lives in and of itself. It's a little bit of a different anthology series than something like American Horror Story. American Horror Story is an anthology series, but each season lives in and of itself, whereas this is just each episode is unique. It's just this really dark take on it's almost cyberpunk in nature, because it's like future tech and all of this stuff, and how it could go horribly wrong. It's intense and it's fantastic. It is excellently acted, excellently written, superbly directed, just everything about this show. And ever since Netflix picked it up, they have extended the seasons, because it used to be a BBC show, and the BBC runs apparently 3-episode seasons for big shows like this. I don't know. But yeah, so since season 3, when it picked up and just started running, they've been, I think, 8 episodes per season instead of just 3. So the first 2 seasons are 3 episodes, and then there's a Christmas episode, and then there's all of season 3, which was 8 episodes. Again, I'm fairly certain about that. And then this new season is going to be 8 episodes, so we have almost half of the episodes have trailers, but there is no announcement for release. That's ridiculous. I don't understand why there's no announcement for release, but that is the state of things, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. And in Walking Dead news, I'm gonna do another supplement, so don't you worry. But in Walking Dead news, this week we got the announcement, and apparently, I don't know if I missed something or what happened, but Morgan is going to be the crossover character. I don't know how I missed if there was some sort of announcement in it. I don't know how it's going to work out either, because all of the releases, all of the press stuff that I've seen is talking about how he's not on set anymore for Walking Dead. He's just going over to Fear the Walking Dead, but I would imagine they're done or very, very close to done to filming this season of Walking Dead, so that makes sense because they have to start filming Fear the Walking Dead. So that being said, I missed something because I don't know how they got to that point. So yeah, there's set photos of Lenny James, who plays Morgan, on the set for Fear the Walking Dead. They're going through table reads and so on and so forth. So pretty awesome there. Okay, supplemental. We are first. I'm gonna do the Walking Dead bit, and because that's first in the timeline, and then I'll get into the other thing that I needed to add to this week's episode. So. First things first, Walking Dead this week was... I wasn't a fan. I still watched it. It's still... Alright, a bad episode of The Walking Dead, or a less good episode of The Walking Dead, is better than a bad... a bad episode of... What's another show that everybody... Better than a bad episode of Game of Thrones. A bad episode of Walking Dead is better than a good episode of American Ninja Warrior. So this, and again, this wasn't bad. It was less good. We're gonna go with less good. I don't feel like we covered a whole lot of ground. We got a little bit more insight into Eugene, and he really did switch teams, it would seem. So I don't know. My heart, this guy right here, my heart was saying that Eugene is going to be a sleeper cell in the Savior's camp. Eugene was going to be our sleeper cell. He's going to be our inside man. Once he sees that the Saviors are going down, then he's going to kick it in and save the day somehow, and that didn't happen. He's really... I am Negan. Negan is with me. I am with Negan. Negan is with me. I am one with Negan. Negan is one with me. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. So yeah, I am one with Negan. Negan is with me. I am one with Negan. Negan is with me. Just broke my heart, man. Just broke my heart. No new developments in the Fear the Walking Dead stuff. Just gonna have to wait and see when it starts airing. All of that stuff. Netflix did, and this is moving past Walking Dead and into other things because we were talking about Black Mirror. Netflix did announce just this morning, I believe, that there is a release date for Black Mirror. It is December 19th, I want to say. It might have been the 14th, but I'm pretty sure it was the 19th. So there is finally a release date for Black Mirror, Season 4, and man, do these episodes look like they're going to be amazing. Anyway, that's it for television news. I'm going to get you back into your regularly scheduled week in Nerdom. And then our last bit of news... Oh yeah, is Legends of Tomorrow, the newest CW show, aside from Black Lightning, which hasn't started yet. The newest CW show is Legends of Tomorrow. And, well... kind of sort of Supergirl, but Supergirl started first. It was just on CBS, went for 2 seasons on CBS, and then went over to CW, so, I don't know. Anyway, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, we're going to get John Constantine, played by the actor who played him in the Constantine show, Matt Ryan. So that's confirmed. He is going to be in, I believe it was at least 3 episodes of Season 3. And that is the end of TV news. We are moving right along into movie news next. Movie news. As of this morning, I believe it was this morning that it was announced. It might have been yesterday, and I just missed it in my research. But as I was getting set up for filming this episode, I read an announcement that there's going to be a Harley Quinn movie. A movie focusing on Harley Quinn. We are already getting an animated adult action cartoon. Now we are also getting a live-action movie focusing on Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie confirms she's going to be Harley Quinn in this movie that is only about Harley Quinn. I am so annoyed. You would think that with this push for equality and female rights and feminist viewpoints and all of these things, that a stronger female character would be pushed into the mainstream. Wonder Woman is a stronger female character. Let's go with that, shall we? I don't get it. I don't get her popularity, but now she has a movie. In other news that's not aggravating, we have an update to the Spawn movie. We've known that Todd McFarlane has been working on a new Spawn movie. He tweeted out the first page of his working script, and then with that, and there's some stuff on there, some existing characters, a couple of references to new characters. It's just a page of text, though nothing super exciting, except in the tweet he was talking about big news coming soon. That's almost a direct quote, not quite. So we'll keep tabs on that and see. Maybe it's a casting announcement. Maybe it's a directing announcement, something along those lines. We will have to just wait and see. Next, we have Captain Marvel. This is super duper rumor. There has been an interview with this actor since, and he's playing dumb. I don't know if it's playing or if he actually doesn't know anything about it, but Ben Mendelsohn is set to play Yon Rogg, the Kree informant that was a major antagonist to Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, in the Marvel Universe, not Shazam. And yeah, so this is super. There was an interview where the interviewer asked him if it's true, and he said, "Wait, what?" If that's him playing stupid, I don't know. We will have to find out. But I mean, that could be the announcement of the villain, because they did talk about how the Kree are going to be a major factor in this movie. So if the Kree are a major factor, then it makes sense that Yon Rogg would be the villain. So very interesting there. Hellboy has a release date, January 11th, 2019. this is the opposite of Gambit. They've been filming Hellboy for a while, so my money says they're going to continue filming in through the first couple months, at least, of 2018, and then give it another 9 months to do post-production, ADR, so on and so forth. All of these steps that we know they must do. So yeah, they have quite the time frame. They have all of this time, whereas Gambit is working on this really truncated, short timeline. So very interesting. We'll have to kind of make a comparison between the two, because since Hellboy has been in production, Gambit has both been confirmed, casted, and announced for writing or for filming and the release date. So we'll see. Next is the bit that we teased for this section in the intro is the Disney acquisition of Fox. It is still in negotiation. However, now this is also according to Wall Street Journal. So they were wrong the first time. The fact that they printed this makes me think they might be wrong again, but I'm hopeful that it is not it. The deal, according to the Wall Street Journal, has been gaining momentum. But really, can we trust them? Will this deal be done in time for Phase 4? And then, this is the part I'm going to hand off to you guys. Is this deal going to usher in Phase 4 of the new Marvel universe? Is this, because they're trying to get this done, is this going to be the thing that they can now recast all of the actors who are out of their contracts, very, very primarily Wolverine? Are they going to be able to do that? And then is that going to be what brings us into this new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Very interesting. Let's discuss those possibilities. Write down in those comments below. The next bit of news is Masters of the Universe. We are getting another He-Man movie. David S. Goyer is set to write and direct. No, just he's talking to direct. He's not set. He's in talks to direct, which potentially means there's a writer already doing this. I mean, there's so many scripts kicking around in the world of Hollywood that it kind of makes sense that they have a script and they need a director. David S. Goyer, if you don't know, was part of the writing team for Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, so he's got that working against him. But he also worked on all three movies, the Batman trilogy for Christopher Nolan, as a writer and a producer. So very interesting credits this guy has, and we'll just have to really just wait and see. But yeah, so it's a Sony property. He also did the Blade movies. He was writer, director, and producer on the Blade movies, and I really dig those Blade movies. Not so much the second one, but the first one and the third one, yeah. So yeah, that's potentially really awesome news, and Lord only knows it's going to be leaps and bounds better than the Dolph Lundgren movie from the 80s. Though that was part of my childhood, so I have somewhat fond memories of it. Anyway, the last bit of movie news that we have is, holy crap! Did you see the Avengers trailer? Did you see this thing? Of course you did, because it is the most viewed movie trailer in the history of YouTube. Oh man, okay, so very strange thing. They changed Thanos' skin color, like in their own continuity changed his skin color. I don't know how they're going to explain that away, but I am more confident anyway in Josh Brolin's voice acting, because and it's going to be quasi motion captured like they do for facial features and such. Watch this trailer. Oh man. Hopefully this movie kind of cures our superhero movie ills, because Thanos is such an important character in the Marvel universe, in the comics. they have to give him gravity in this movie. A, to make it worth the 2.5 hour runtime. B, to make it to give us an actual sense of climax to this universe, because this, by all intents and purposes, is the last Marvel movie we're going to get with these actors. Technically speaking, there is one more movie, but it is the continuation of this movie. They're filming both of them together. So yeah. Oh wow. I'm a lot more excited. I was gonna say I'm a lot more excited about this movie now. But that is everything for movie news. We're gonna kick on over to video game news next. And in video game news this week, it's relatively short. Not much goes on, apparently. I mean, we have War of the Gods right now, which is an Injustice tournament. I've been watching it passively, but it's not, I don't know, it's not as exciting. It's just too big of a pool right now. I think we'll have to wait until we get closer to the finals brackets to start doing much coverage on that. And the announcers are insufferable, so it's difficult to watch at times. But we do have a couple of things. The biggest one, I feel like, we'll get that one out of the way first, is Overwatch. Overwatch is patching its character Doomfist. Doomfist is the newest character to the roster, and there are still known issues past the patch that you're going to get. He should be patched by now, I believe. Things that they know that are still an issue are his where is it? Seismic Slam still has targeting issues when you're in the corner. The Rocket Punch sometimes has targeting issues as well, where you will kind of go through your opponent. Though some of this apparently has been related to latency issues and not necessarily a programming error. And then the last one is also to do with the Rocket Punch, rather. When you're another corner issue, when you use the Rocket Punch in a corner, you will still bounce off of the wall sometimes. So they know about these issues. They are still working on them. However, they are patching a longer list of things than these three little things. So very exciting for you Overwatch players. I really enjoy watching your streams online, so keep up the good work. And then continuing our discussion on the EA debacle. EA has suspended all of the Loot Crate perks, or whatever you want to call them. That being said, though, fans are still super pissed. There is a petition on change.org to dissolve EA's ownership in the Star Wars franchise. EA's rights to Star Wars. Dissolve their rights to make Star Wars video games. It's at about 70,000 as of my research for this. They're very, very close to 100,000, which is what you need to get things final on change.org. I don't know how official it is. I don't know if Lucasfilms will heed the fans' calls of change. But that's very interesting because this has been such a large issue with EA. And then our last announcement is the Gaming Awards. Live on Twitch. I didn't catch the date because, and say it with me, I take bad notes. So yeah. It's happening soon. I'll have to put in the description what the date is because I'm a moron. But the cool thing is, one of the producers of the show has been hitting Twitter kind of sort of on the sly, talking about how there's going to be a lot of major announcements and all of these awesome things are going to happen. And then there's been rumor that Kojima's going to come with a preview of Death Stranding, which has been his kind of the Silent Hill that he didn't get to make because Guillermo del Toro is involved, as well as Norman Reedus, who is Daryl on Walking Dead. He's involved, just like we were supposed to get with that Silent Hill game that will never be, sadly. Even though PT was such a major hit, and seriously, PlayStation 4s that have PT on it are selling for thousands and thousands of dollars. It's kind of scary. So yeah, that is it for gaming news. Next, we are moving into this week's other short segment, comic books. And this week in comic books, let's go with World War Hulk first. We are getting another World War Hulk. Even though Bruce Banner's been dead in the comics for a while, what is the new Hulk's name? I can never remember. Amadeus Cho. Amadeus Cho is a current Hulk. We just got a Planet Hulk 2 with Amadeus, because the Planet Hulk, the original one, was Banner. So this was Amadeus on Sakaar and all of the things, and now he's on Earth, and the Hulk is in control, and is how did I word it in my notes? Is on Earth and out of control, and is stuck basically as the Hulk. So it will start in March with number 174 of the Incredible Hulk. Also, Incredible Hulk news: there has been rumor that we're going to get Bruce Banner back. So very interesting there. We will definitely keep our eyes open. And then our next and only other bit of comic book news is Batman related, because we can't have a comic book session without Batman. Sorry, he's my favorite comic book character. So, and it's very interesting that he's my favorite. Anyway, we're not going to get into a Batman conversation, I don't think. We're getting a new villain, though. Tom King is going to introduce a new villain that will play a big role going forward. What does that mean? I'm gonna hand this one off to you guys. The last new villain I remember was Onomatopoeia, which was created by Kevin Smith, though I don't think that was Batman. Onomatopoeia was Green Arrow? No, Daredevil, maybe? Daredevil? But that was Marvel. I don't know. He wrote for... I can't remember! Anyway, Onomatopoeia was the last one I remember that was new, and he's a DC villain. He might have even been a Batman villain. But this is going to be Tom King, who is a little bit more dedicated to the writing of comic books. Sorry, Kevin, we love you, but you just don't finish your books most of the time. Or it takes you forever to finish the books. So, who knows if this is going to stick? That's the bit that I'm gonna hand over to you guys for comic books. New villain. We haven't had the greatest track record with new characters in general, which is why all of the diverse characters have been just adaptations of existing characters. So will this be done well? Because it's a team that has been writing comics for a long time, that is established in that world. Let's talk about the future potential of whatever this Bat villain is going to be right down in the comments. That is it for comic book news. Let's roll on over to our largest section by far this week, is music news. And this week in music news, oh my lord, in I Can't Believe I Missed It music news, He Is Legend has put out a new album as of like 2 months ago. It might have even been longer than that, 3 months ago maybe. He Is Legend is easily one of my top 10 favorite bands. I Am Hollywood and Black Unicorn and Suck Out the Poison are easily records that I could listen to back 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 till the end of time and never get tired of them. So very interesting. The new record is called, oh, my memory sucks, Few, F-E-W, Few. Also, they put out a record in 2014 that I missed, and we're not going to worry too much about that because I have it now, but that one's called Heavy Fruit. So, they're not quite... Heavy Fruit is a great record. I just listened to it. It's fantastic. And I really hope... The three songs, rather, that I've heard off of Few have been good. They're not suck out the poison good, because I feel like that's probably my favorite record of theirs. But still, very, very good. I'm super excited these guys are putting out records. The cool thing about this record is it was crowdsourced. They got all of the money and then some that they asked for on Kickstarter to make this record, which means that there are more people than just me who are into this band. So anyway, old news aside, let's get into relevant new news. Recently in an interview, Mike Portnoy, formerly of Dream Theater. Why can't I remember that? I always get Dream Theater and Iced Earth mixed up for whatever reason. Mike Portnoy, who used to play for Dream Theater, left Dream Theater to fill in on drums for Avenged Sevenfold, and then left Avenged Sevenfold, and is now doing other things. Was in an interview recently and was talking about Lars Ulrich. Now, apparently it has become a very fashionable thing to talk a lot of trash. Pardon me. To talk a lot of trash about older drummers, old school drummers, specifically about Lars Ulrich, probably because he's a very large target, not in a physical kind of way, but because he was so influential to so many drummers. Metallica was so influential to so many bands that now it's if you're a contrarian, because it's cool to be a contrarian, you are talking trash about your influences. And Lars being the biggest one, he's getting a lot of flack for not being a very good drummer. He's a solid drummer. The one thing that really bugs me about Lars, and I feel like it's not necessarily always the case, it was when they first started working with Rick Rubin for Death Magnetic. Rick Rubin made him learn his music, because apparently for the albums, however many albums before that, they wrote songs and he just recorded as they were writing and then didn't know the music until they went on tour. So that's kind of annoying. Just like rock star high and mighty nonsense annoying, you know what I mean? So yeah, Portnoy though, back to the news at hand. Portnoy was standing up for Ulrich. Thank you, Mike. He said you don't have to be the best drummer. The quote, I actually wrote it down this time. You don't have to be a great drummer to be the most important guy in the band. Look at Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr is a horrible drummer. And was one of, there were only 4 Beatles, so they all were equal contributors to very, well, maybe not equal contributors, but they all contributed a lot. As John Lennon said in an interview once, somebody asked him if they thought Ringo was the best drummer in the world, and Ringo said he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. He's just the guy that plays drums on stage is all. So, yeah, I feel like, good on you, Mike Portnoy, for standing up for your influences, man. Lars may not be the best drummer in the world, but damn if he's not one of the most solid. And he's, pushing 70 now, so whatever. Next, we are talking Eminem. Announcement, finally, for his record is December 15th. That's... why are you announcing it 2 weeks before it happens? That's so weird to me. So yeah, we're getting Revival on December 15th. Apparently, I didn't watch the BET Awards. I do sometimes. If I know there's going to be something cool, I'll check it out. Like when they did the Prince tribute, I watched that. I watched a couple years in a row, actually. But by and large, I don't generally watch the BET Awards just because I don't really have much stake in modern hip-hop. I don't appreciate it. Say what you will about that, but yeah, for whatever reason, I just don't appreciate much modern hip hop. So BET Awards have very little draw for me. However, this year apparently I missed a great cipher from Eminem. I actually just watched it before I started filming, and he's angry. Oh, I don't know. He's a very intelligent man. It sounds like he's being misled about some things, and he's rightfully angry about some things. It was all to do with our current president, and just like every other entertainment figure, mostly anyway, he was just all of the same story. This is the same old story. Nobody's mad at Trump for the things they actually can be mad at him for. They're all mad at things that they perceive to be wrong. Anyway, but it was great. Lyrically, he's fantastic and just brilliant. I saw on Billboard.com they have a thing going right now. What was Beyonce's best team-up song in 2017? Easily, by far, Walk on Water with Eminem. And that is so far the only song that they've released for Revival. So if that is an indication of the quality we're going to get from the rest of the record, I am on board. I am super excited, actually, about this record. I'm super excited just because it's fantastic to see how he's grown as an artist from the first record, from his very, very first self-produced record. The Infinite was the name of it. That, and then his underground stuff, and then when he signed with Aftermath, and that is a really interesting progression to see. And then he kind of plateaued for a while once he did the first Marshall Mathers record. It plateaued and even dipped for a minute when he was super into drugs. But his last 3 records have been just getting better, and I'm super excited about this one when it comes out in 2 weeks. So definitely we're going to be keeping an eye on that. In It Makes Me Feel So Damn Old news, Protest the Hero, one of my top 5 bands, is going on tour next year, 2018, to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Fortress, their second record. Technically their third record, because they did one by themselves, but their second, proper released label record. Man, I remember when that was the new record. I remember before that record came out, even. Oh my gosh. So just those kids, man, make really good music, and I'm super excited to see them again, though they're not coming to Colorado. Anyway, continuing on down the road, we did that. Oh, him! For those of you not in the know with the, love metal band is the phrase they coined for the description of their music. Him, as in capital H, capital I, capital N, M, as in His Infernal Majesty, the guys that are covertly Satanists, those guys, really bad band. They're on their farewell tour. Yay! The peasants rejoiced. Well, I mean, they do have a following, and it's a fairly rabid following too, which is a little sad to me, but whatever, they're done, and I don't ever have to talk about or listen to them again. And then our final bit of news for this week's Week in Nerddom. Just a reminder, website generallynerdy.net, patreon.com/generallynerdy. All of these things, you can find me there, but we're not going to do the farewells just yet. Okay, so we got one more issue to take care of. I forgot to talk about Christmas music. I teased it in the intro and everything, and I still forgot to talk about it once we got there while we were recording the primary recording for this episode. So we're gonna have to put it in the supplement. August Burns, the thing that got me, that put this thought in my head, why I should put it in the Week in Nerddom, is August Burns Red covered Last Christmas by Wham. Now, that's a very strange thing for a number of reasons. Not the least of which, Wham consisted of what I believe at least one gay man, and August Burns Red are both the whole band is very, very Christian. So that made me laugh a little bit. But also the choice of Last Christmas, the official release from the band was given by the bass player. And he said, the lyrics to Last Christmas are super depressing, so we hope our version finds somebody and you can appreciate it better, and it doesn't make you sad. To which the guy Axel, one of the writers for Metal Sucks, which is the second place I found this bit, so thankfully not the first, but he said, that's exactly why I'm not going to listen to this song, because I don't like emo-core, which, dude, really? Emo-core, August Burns Red? Have you listened to any of their music? Anyway. And 2, there's no lyrics in their cover. It's incredibly shreddy and super, super heavy, but it's the lyric melody is done by one of the guitars, and it's incredible. It is, if you like heavy music, especially if you like heavy instrumental music, definitely check this out. Anyway, so that was the thing that was like, maybe I should talk about Christmas music. And, I was thinking about writing a blog, and I'll probably still write a blog that goes into deeper detail. So, yeah, Christmas music. Now, my birthday happens very, 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 very close to Thanksgiving. Oftentimes, it's on Thanksgiving. So, I take it a little personally when people start whipping out the Christmas music the day after Halloween. Also, I feel like because the season is so jammed full, we start with Halloween and we go into Christmas and then it's New Year's, and that happens all in super rapid succession, right? So, and everyone's favorite holiday apparently is Christmas. Well, not everyone's, because a lot of people's favorite is Halloween, because you get candy and you get, horror movies and blood and slutty nurse costumes. But by and large, society, our culture in America, is that Christmas is the biggest holiday, and Christmas is so awesome, and thanks, what? Who are we giving thanks to? Let's buy each other presents. So that kind of always gets under my skin a little bit. So to me, and I want you guys to talk about this too, I really like Christmas music. That's the other part that I want to kind of communicate here, is I don't hate Christmas music. I know a lot of people do hate Christmas music, but I feel like people that hate Christmas music, as we've talked about in different elements of our society, I feel like people who say they hate Christmas music say it because it's cool to be a contrarian. It's cool to not like what the populace at large likes. Sad as that may be, it's the way of things. Anyway, so yeah, I do appreciate Christmas music. I just feel like because we have a tendency to start playing it so early, people get burnt out on it. And one way to avoid that is to only listen to it for a certain length of time, right? So that length of time, to me, is from at the very earliest, the day after Thanksgiving, or I sometimes wait until the day after my birthday, depending on how I'm feeling that year, and depending on where my birthday falls in relation to Thanksgiving. So the day after Thanksgiving until New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, whichever. That's appropriate to me. That's just like having when you have a fake Christmas tree. That's when you should have your fake Christmas tree up. It just seems like a logical response to that. Anyway, if you guys disagree, or if you do agree, let's have that conversation in the comments. Is there I know that there's all the standards. This is the other bit that I wanted to talk about with Christmas music. There are these standards of Christmas music. Anything that Bing Crosby sang while he was popular and alive. So, Maliki Maka, White Christmas, those songs. I don't even know if Maliki Maka is a big one anymore. It was for a while, but then in the 90s, it started dying out in popularity because you had a lot of the Jingle Bells, the rocking around the Christmas tree, that kind of stuff, a little bit more upbeat. Not that anyway, I'm going off on a tangent and bird walking. So yeah, you have those standards, and then you have Mariah Carey's big tune that Gwen Stefani is currently trying to dethrone her this year. She wants to be the new Mariah Carey and make her billions of dollars on one song, which, as an artist, I don't understand that drive. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, tunes. So there's a lot of really good, if you're not into pop music, if you're not into Taylor Swift and Mariah Carey and Bublé and Josh Groban and all of these super poppy singers, you like heavier stuff, there's a lot of heavy metal Christmas music. I have, on my iPod, I have almost 1,200 songs. 1,200 songs on my iPod. And I know I have one album it was 300 songs of just all of the different Christmas stuff that you hear on the radio when you listen to Christmas radio. But I have, Rob Halford has it's called Winter Songs. It's a metal Christmas record that doesn't do any of the, does some of the standards, but it's Rob Halford, so it's like, ah! So there's that one, and the original tunes on there are amazing. I'm not a huge Priest fan, but that is one of my favorite records. You have, I believe it's 4 Trans-Siberian Orchestra records that are all Christmas themed, and again, only a handful of those traditional Christmas tunes. There is Merry Xmas. There's 2 CDs for that, and on that you have Des Ferreira from Devil Driver and Coal Chamber singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is kind of epic. Super growly Cookie Monster vocals. I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's Corey Taylor does a Christmas song that's Fuck You for Christmas, because he's very atheist and super lefty, but one of the most amazing lyricists. And that is what I honestly, that's one of the most awesomely voiced and written metal Christmas songs I've ever heard, even though it's anti-Christmas. But yeah, there's so much metal Christmas. If you like metal music, I am going to, in the blog, I've decided just now while recording this, I'm going to do the blog about Christmas music. And in that blog, I will definitely, and once it's written, I'll add a link in the description. But in that blog, I will definitely link to some killer Christmas records. Twisted Sister did a Christmas album, although that is basically just all of the metal, just a metal version of all of the standards. Their 12 Days of Christmas is pretty funny because it's not the traditional 12 Days of Christmas. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm handing this over to you guys. What do you think about Christmas music? Is it overkill? Do we listen to too much Christmas music? When is the most appropriate time to listen to Christmas music? When I was in the kitchen, when I was a chef, I always put on Christmas music during the month of December. That was the only time that we played Christmas in my kitchen. And a lot of my guys hated it because they don't like Christmas music, because it gets overplayed. They didn't realize until after a couple of days of listening to my Christmas music that it wasn't traditional Christmas music. Anyway, so is it too much? Do we have too much Christmas music? Is there appropriate time, so on and forth? Let's seriously have that discussion in the comments down below. And like I said, once that blog post is written, I will link it in the description of this video. That being said, I'm passing it back off to me from a couple days ago, and thank you very much for watching. GenerallyNerdy.net is the website, and back to you, Dustin. Is the final bit of news, and it's Grammy announcements. The Grammys will air on January 28th, 2018. We'll do Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and the best metal performance, because those are the only ones I really care about at all anyway. So Record of the Year, doodly-doo. Nominees are Redbone, Childish Gambino, Despacito, I don't know what that is, but it's Louis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee featuring Justin Bieber, oh my lord, The Story of OJ by Jay-Z, which is a great record, Childish Gambino records, fantastic as well, Humble by Kendrick Lamar, 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars. Those are the nominees for Record of the Year. Album of the Year. Oh, and I'll give you my picks of these at the end of this too. Album of the Year is Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino, 444 by Jay-Z, also fantastic. Damn by Kendrick Lamar, also fantastic. Melodrama by Lord's pop brilliance. And 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars. Song of the Year. That same one. The Louis Fonsi, Daddy Yankee featuring Justin Bieber. 444, Jay-Z. Issues by Julia Michaels. The Suicide Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Logic featuring Alessia Cara and Khalid. And Bruno Mars, That's What I Like. Those are the big awards that everyone pays attention to. And my pick for each of those, honestly, Kendrick Lamar for Record of the Year. Either Kendrick or Jay-Z for Album of the Year. And then Song of the Year is probably Jay-Z. I don't know, I really dig the Bruno Mars tune too, but Jay-Z's just golden. And then we have, I'm not going to do the best rock performance, best rock whatever, because I don't agree with some of those nominees as being rock. Like Metallica should take that every year. I don't understand. Or Mastodon should take that every year. One of those two guys should take it every year. If one of them has a record out and they're not nominated, then it's bullshit. And sometimes that happens, so I just don't buy into that. But best metal performance, August Burns Red for Invisible Enemy, Body Count for Black Hoodie, Code Orange for Forever, Mastodon for Sultan's Curse, and Meshuggah for Clockworks. So all of those are fantastic. How can any one of those win over the other one? August Burns Red is not likely to win, just because they're not super well known. It is a fantastic record, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to throw any shade. I love August Burns Red. I just went and saw them not that long ago. Body Count has Ice-T in it, so big face. A lot of casual listeners will say, "Oh, I recognize that. Let's vote for that." Code Orange is probably my favorite in the list right now. Not that I don't love Mastodon and Meshuggah and August Burns Red and Body Count for that matter. Mastodon's probably one of my top 10 favorite bands ever. Meshuggah's slowly becoming one of my top 5 favorite bands ever, but I just can't stop listening to that Code Orange record. It is so amazing. So yeah, my pick would be Code Orange. My logical assumption is going to be Mastodon, even though the Meshuggah album is 10 times the technicality of anything on that list. So if they're going based on skill, then Meshuggah should win. If they're going based on performance, which it is metal performance, then Code Orange and Mastodon, those two are really close together performance-wise. So yeah, that is your weekend nerddom. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. The website is generallynerdy.net. The Patreon, patreon.com/generallynerdy. Facebook, facebook.com/generallynerdy or facebook.com/generallynerdyphoto. Instagram, It's all one word on Instagram. Instagram.com/generally nerdy. Twitter is generally_nerdy. And all of these things you can find me at. The next episode of Adventures in Photography is almost done. I just finished. So just to kind of clue you guys in on this. It takes me a little while to create a piece of music in my DAW. Because I am used to playing the instrument. I'm not used to programming a drum machine, programming synthesizers. All of that stuff takes me a while to kind of wrap my head around how to do it every time I start again. So that is the longest thing that part of the process when it comes to those episodes for Adventures in Photography. I just finished the song for the October. I shot it in October. It was the Night on the Town here in Loveland, and it will be going up in the next few days, probably shortly before this video goes up, actually. So if it's up, I will definitely put a card or whatever they're called right about here. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm pretty happy with the way this one's coming out, and I'm also pretty happy with the stuff that I have for the other two that are already recorded that I just need to get working on. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much for watching. If there is anything you want me to cover next week, definitely hit that down there in the comments section below. If there's something you feel like I missed from this week, let's talk about that in the comments section down below. But all of that being said, I'm going to remind you guys one more time that always remember, if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.